Bitch ass nigga. All you YB fans, you bitch ass nigga better block me today, nigga. This little bitch ass nigga on this hoe painting his nail, doing all type of hoe shit, nigga. G Money been said you was a hoe, nigga. Finna get on that Fredo shit, nigga. Stamp you niggas. Nah, for real.
Montana 700 is in deep trouble now. The whole new Dallas movement is shaken to its core, questioning everything they thought they knew about him. Behind that tough street image and loud Dallas swagger, Montana was actually running scared from NBA YoungBoy's crew after an old video came back to haunt him, and it hit harder than anyone expected. This clip didn't just stir drama, it put Montana right in 4KT's crosshairs, and the fallout was wild. The truth behind what really broke this Dallas rapper down is way more twisted and embarrassing than any street rumor. We've got it all. Even the exact words from that phone call where Montana had to apologize like his life was on the line. Whispers started flying that Montana 700 got pressed by NBA YoungBoy and his crew backstage at a Dallas show. People saying he got slapped, that someone's got the footage, but they're scared to drop it. But let's clear the smoke. We're about to break down what's real and what's straight cap, because the truth, it's way worse than just getting checked in public. September 2025, that's when everything flipped. Montana 700 was at the top of his game, representing Dallas heavy, performing non-stop, feeling untouchable. But then, that one old video from 2021 resurfaced and ruined it all. It showed the world what happens when someone who talks tough online finally faces real street consequences. And this time, there was no hiding behind the camera. Now wait a second. Don't think this was just some typical rap beef or online clout chase. This wasn't a case of rappers talking tough behind keyboards. Montana 700 was really scared when 4KT started coming for him. Like panicking scared, he was scrambling for excuses faster than a kid trying to hide stolen candy from his mom. But here's where things get extra spicy. The whole mess didn't even start while Montana was famous. It all came from something he said before he ever touched a mic. Back in 2021, he was just another fan with a phone talking reckless online. During that time, NBA YoungBoy was deep in what fans now call his experimental phase, rocking black nail polish, eyeliner, and pushing the limits of how a street rapper could look. This was the infamous blackball era.
Was it face painting or painting your nails and doing these different sort of style things? Like, what's inspired that to do those different things too?
The nails came after the face. I was just playing with my face and I actually liked it. You should try it.
YoungBoy was on house arrest, fighting serious legal battles and using his music and style to vent what he was feeling. Some fans didn't get it, others called him out, and critics were losing their minds over his new image. And guess who was in that mix? Montana 700. Just a regular dude from Dallas back then. He wasn't rapping, he wasn't on stage. He was just another opinionated fan talking wild on live. He had no clue that his little rant that night would come back years later to haunt him, right when he finally became somebody in the rap game. In that now notorious video, Montana straight up said, and I quote, "All you YoungBoy fans, you better block me today. This little dude painting his nails doing all type of hoe stuff. G, Money been said he wouldn't get on that Fredo bang stuff." It didn't stop there either. Montana kept going, getting bolder with every word. He started talking about how NBA YoungBoy was acting like a female and how he was disappointed in the artist he once called his idol. That's some serious disrespect right there, especially coming from someone who claimed to be a fan. And the wild part? He didn't just criticize YoungBoy's style, he brought up his biggest enemies, G Money and Fredo Bang. Anyone who knows the culture knows that's a dangerous line to cross. In the streets and in hip-hop, calling out someone's character like that, especially linking them with rivals, is a straight-up violation that can get you in deep trouble. But back then, Montana wasn't thinking about that. He wasn't a rapper yet, just a regular Dallas dude venting online, not realizing those same words would come back to haunt him once he blew up. The clip showed him sitting in his car, heated and talking wild, saying YoungBoy had lost himself and was doing weird stuff for attention. You could see the frustration on his face like he meant every word. And the boldest part? Montana even said that if he ever saw YoungBoy in person, he'd tell him to his face how disappointed he was. Real tough talk, right? But fast forward a few years. That same energy disappeared real quick when 4KT came calling and his phone started lighting up with calls he definitely didn't want to answer.
Bitch ass nigga. All you YB fans, you bitch ass nigga better block me today, nigga. This little bitch ass nigga on this hoe painting his nail, doing all type of hoe shit, nigga. G Money been said you was a hoe, nigga. Finna get on that Fredo shit, nigga. Stamp you niggas. Nah, for real. My mama, brother, tell you niggas. Nigga,
But here's where things go way deeper than just some dusty old social media beef. That video sat hidden for years while Montana 700 was out here leveling up, building his name in the New Dallas movement alongside Zillionaire Doe and really making noise in the game. He went from a local name to one of the faces of a rising scene that had the streets buzzing. During that whole time, Montana was out here acting like that old clip never happened. He'd play NBA YoungBoy's tracks at his own shows, rap YoungBoy's lyrics word for word in the car with his crew, and vibe like they were cool. The new Dallas wave was in full swing. Montana and Zillionaire were getting booked, getting interviews, even locking down deals. The movement felt unstoppable. And the wildest part? Montana was preaching about loyalty, being real, and staying solid in his songs, all while that old video was just sitting there, waiting to blow everything up. He had no idea his own past was ready to come back and call him out for being the opposite of what he claimed to be. Then came September 2025, the month everything flipped upside down. YoungBoy announced his massive tour with Dallas on the schedule, and that's when the internet detectives went to work. They dug up that old Montana 700 clip and sent it viral again. But this time, it wasn't just random fans reposting. Big hip-hop pages caught wind of it, and the comments were ruthless. And the real punch in the gut? NB. YoungBoy himself hit like on one of those reposts. The exact one showing Montana dissing him years back. That one move said it all. The storm was coming, and everyone knew it. Now listen up. If you don't get how serious this next part is, let me break it down. When someone like NBA YoungBoy, who never really engages in online drama, who survived federal cases, house arrest, and learned to move smart, actually likes a post calling out someone who once dissed him, that's not just a reaction, that's a message. That single tap of the heart was a straight-up green light, and the internet knew it instantly. The moment that like showed up, chaos exploded in Montana 700's world. His comments got flooded with snake emojis, people calling him fake, and 4KT fans, known as the Slime Army, started digging up everything. His address, show locations, event flyers, all of it. In their eyes, Montana wasn't just a rapper anymore. He was a target. And when the Slime Army locks on, it's no joke. But here's where it gets wild and shows just how deep the rap game politics go. NBA YoungBoy had actually been showing love to the New Dallas movement, the very same scene Montana came from. He was even working with Dallas talent like Head Honcho Amir, who had been performing at YoungBoy's own shows. Now get this. Head Honcho Amir was tight with Montana 700. He was getting major shine because YoungBoy was helping boost Dallas artists, and at the same time, there was old footage floating around of Montana dissing that same man who'd been supporting the movement. The irony was too real, but the real shocker, the moment that had everyone talking, came when Montana 700 got that phone call. According to people close to the situation, OG33, one of NBA, YoungBoy's Day One brothers and part of the original 4KT crew, personally reached out to Montana about that old video. And when 33 calls, you already know it's not for small talk. That call meant business. Let's get one thing straight about OG3. This ain't just some random guy hanging around NBA YoungBoy. This is family. A real one who's been in the trenches with YoungBoy since day one. Seen everything from street wars in Baton Rouge to friends lost, cases caught, and bullets flying. When he calls you, it's never casual. It's serious business. So when 4KT hits your line, don't think it's about a feature or some friendly collab.
Now I'm an artist. When I made this, that shit was 4 years ago, 3 years ago. You gotta understand, niggas came up on YoungBoy. My little brother and them, they love YoungBoy. Like, diehard fan. So when a nigga see him painting his nail, it's like, damn. It's just like a normal, from a fan's point of view video, like, damn, look at bro, like, this ain't no beef.
Nah, this is the same crew that's been through the darkest parts of the game. Federal cases, raids, shootouts, and the kind of loyalty that's been tested by real-life chaos. These are people who've survived everything the streets could throw their way. So if your phone lights up with a 4KT call, you answer, and you better come correct. According to several sources who heard about it, that conversation between OG33 and Montana 700 went something like this. OG33 called up and said, "Yo, what's this video about you dissing my brother?" And right there, Montana started folding. He didn't bark back, didn't stand tall, he started backpedaling fast. Montana reportedly said the video was old, from before he was even rapping, that he was just a fan expressing disappointment, and that he's always had love and respect for YoungBoy. You could practically hear the panic in his voice. It was wild to see. The same Montana who once clowned YoungBoy for painting his nails and called him soft was now switching up completely, sounding nervous and desperate to smooth things over. That tough talk disappeared the second real pressure hit. Montana was ducking smoke like someone who just realized they wandered into the wrong neighborhood at the wrong time. Sources say Montana was stuttering hard on that call, apologizing over and over, trying to explain himself like everything was on the line. You could tell he was desperate to smooth things over. But here's the part that really made it embarrassing. Montana kept repeating that he wasn't even a rapper when he made those comments, like that somehow made it okay. He told OG3, "Man, I was just a fan back then. I wasn't nobody. I didn't know better." That right there was basically him admitting that now that he's got a name, he knows better than to talk reckless, which just made his old words sound even weaker. People in the streets were clowning him, saying he kept using that same excuse over and over, like not being famous yet gave him a free pass to disrespect. But it doesn't work like that. See, in hip-hop culture, your words stick. Whether you said them when you were broke, bored, or barely known, they follow you forever. If anything, talking wild when you're a nobody and then apologizing once you make it big just makes you look fake. The streets don't forget, and neither do real ones like OG33. Being the street-savvy dude he is, OG3 made sure Montana knew the situation was serious. He told him straight up that NBA YoungBoy had seen the video himself, and that the entire 4KT crew knew about it too. They weren't happy, and they weren't laughing either. Then OG3 hit him with that line that cut deep. He told Montana that if he's got something to say about YoungBoy, he should say it to his face, not hide behind an old video when he thought no one was watching. For people who really understand the culture, this moment was bigger than just one rapper apologizing to another. It was a lesson in what happens when online talk collides with real-life consequences. This whole situation goes way beyond just rap beef. It's about respect. It's about understanding that your words carry weight and that the internet never forgets. Once something's out there, it's out there forever. And when real pressure comes your way, that's when everyone sees what you're really made of. Montana 700's reaction to that phone call exposed exactly where his heart was. Instead of standing on what he said or trying to handle it man to man, he flipped straight into damage control mode. Multiple sources say he told OG3 that he had nothing but respect for NBA YoungBoy, that he'd always been a fan, that the whole situation was a misunderstanding, and that he'd even be willing to publicly apologize if that's what it took. But here's where things get even messier. The new Dallas movement, the wave Montana represents, was built on realness, authenticity, loyalty, and standing tall no matter what. It's about Dallas pride, grit, and toughness, showing the world that the city breeds solid, fearless talent. And Montana 700, he built his image around that. The idea that he was a street-bred dude who came from nothing and wasn't scared of anybody. But when it came time to back up that image, when 4KT came knocking, that whole tough Dallas energy vanished in seconds. The man who once rapped about standing 10 toes down was suddenly trying to explain, backtrack, and make peace. In street culture, that moment said everything. When you get checked by someone's crew and your first move is to apologize, make excuses, or beg for understanding, that's not strategy. That's showing weakness. And in hip-hop politics, weakness doesn't just hurt your pride. It can stain your reputation forever. It doesn't matter if you're just trying to be smart or avoid drama. In this culture, the perception is what counts. And once people see you fold under pressure, that's it. They believe what they see. In hip-hop and the streets, perception is reality. And once that image cracks, it's hard to ever get it back.
So when the niggas call me and hit me, when they in the city, they call me. Hey, bitch, we fucking with, what the hell, what's up with the video? I be a rapper to lie like, yo, fuck y'all. Come on now, you know what I mean, nigga, you know how hot YoungBoy was at that time? You know what I mean, nigga would have ran with that narrative, try to drop a diss song and whoop. Nah, I ain't on that rap shit. Tell them straight up, nah, I mean, that shit was just a game. That shit was a joke. They was just fucking around. Nigga be dead wrong and sit here and lie like.
What makes Montana 700 situation even more fascinating is how it exposed the levels in this rap game. See, Montana might run Dallas. He's got local fame, loyal fans, packed out shows, and money coming in. But the second NBA YoungBoy's name entered the chat, all that local clout suddenly looked small. It's like being the toughest guy in your neighborhood until you bump into someone who runs the whole city. That phone call with OG3 revealed something about Montana's character that a lot of his fans weren't ready to face. Here's a dude who's built his whole image on loyalty, being real, and standing on business. But when the real test came, he folded quick. The same man who rapped about being unshakable started backtracking the second real consequences showed up. And that's where the truth hit hardest. Because that's not the energy of someone who's truly about that life. It's the kind of moment that makes fans question everything they believed about you. The biggest consequence here isn't just Montana 700's reputation taking a hit. It's how one old clip completely flipped the power dynamic in hip-hop. It reminded everyone that there's a big difference between online bravado and real-life respect. Some rappers talk tough for views, others live what they rap. And this situation made it painfully clear who's who. NBA YoungBoy didn't even have to clap back directly. Just liking that post was enough to shake things up and remind Montana exactly where he stood in the food chain. That single move sent a message louder than any diss track ever could. But what's even bigger is what this moment means for the entire New Dallas movement. Montana 700 was supposed to be one of the faces of that wave. The guy representing Dallas with pride, grit, and authenticity. He built his name on being real, untouchable, and fearless. But once he got exposed as someone who talks tough online and then folds under real pressure, that energy bounced back on everyone around him. Now his partner, Zillionaire Doe, is stuck in a messy situation. That's his friend, his business partner, his teammate in pushing the New Dallas sound. And suddenly, Montana's reputation is dragging the whole movement into the mud. Imagine trying to build a brand on loyalty and toughness while your right-hand man is getting exposed for dissing one of the biggest rappers in the game and then apologizing for it. That's a PR nightmare. Zillionaire's in a tough spot. Does he stand beside his boy and risk catching the heat too? Or does he quietly distance himself before the backlash hits his career? Either way, it's bad optics for the whole New Dallas wave. And this situation didn't just expose Montana, it pulled the curtain back on social media culture too. People still think they can say anything online and it'll just fade away. But that's not how the internet works. Montana made those comments back in 2021 thinking they'd get buried in the feed. But years later, they came back louder than ever. This is a hard lesson for every upcoming artist and public figure out there. Your words will follow you no matter how far you rise. So if you're gonna talk tough, you better be ready to stand on it. What made everything even more humiliating was how Montana tried to spin the whole thing after that phone call. Instead of just taking the L and keeping quiet, he went on a full-blown apology tour, doing interviews, trying to explain what happened, and honestly just making it worse with every word. He kept saying, "I was just a fan back then. I didn't know better. I've always respected NBA YoungBoy." But the more he talked, the weaker he looked. Each interview turned into another reminder that he folded under pressure. Fans saw the fear, the industry saw the desperation, and the hip-hop community didn't waste any time reacting. Rappers started quietly backing away, not wanting to be seen next to someone who got publicly checked and couldn't stand tall afterward. Even show promoters started thinking twice about booking him. Not because of his talent, but because they didn't want any potential 4-key drama showing up at their events. It was a full-on domino effect. One old video, one phone call, and suddenly Montana 700's entire career was spinning off track. The man went from being a rising face of Dallas to being the cautionary tale of what happens when online talk catches up with real life. And here's the craziest part. NB, a young boy didn't even have to say a single word. No diss track, no post, no rant, just one like. That single move carried more weight than any statement could. It showed how powerful his presence really is. How one small action from him can shake up an entire city's music scene and completely change another rapper's future without him even lifting a finger. That one simple action, a single like from NBA YoungBoy, was enough to completely flip Montana 700's whole world upside down. That's real power. The kind that only comes from being truly respected and feared both in the industry and in the streets. It showed that YoungBoy's influence stretches far beyond music. It's cultural, it's emotional, and it's global. This whole situation drew a hard line between regional success and national dominance. Sure, Montana 700 might run Dallas, pull crowds, and have love in his city, but NBA YoungBoy, he's an international force. His fan base rides for him no matter where he goes. City to city, country to country, and when those two worlds collide, there's really only one way it ends. The local star gets crushed under the weight of global influence. It's also a cold reminder of how social media has changed the entire game. It gives people a false sense of safety, like they can say whatever they want and it'll vanish into the timeline. But the internet never forgets. It's always watching, always saving receipts. Montana 700 thought he was just some random fan back in 2021, tossing out opinions for laughs, not realizing those same words would come back years later to haunt his career when he finally made it. And the timing couldn't have been worse. He was finally catching buzz, building momentum with the new Dallas movement, and getting recognition outside his city, and then, bam! That old video reappears and wrecks everything he worked for. It was like watching someone climb a mountain for years, only to slip right before touching the top. The saddest part? Montana 700 actually had something real going. He had talent, drive, and a lane that could have taken him far. But one careless moment from the past ended up being the crack that brought his whole empire crashing down. Montana 700 was finally making it happen. His music was starting to hit. People were connecting with his story. His numbers were climbing, and he was right on the edge of breaking into that next level. The shows were getting bigger, the brand deals were lining up, and for a second, it looked like he was about to change his whole life. But all that progress got buried under the weight of old words. Reckless comments he made years ago when nobody even knew his name. This whole mess exposed how unforgiving hip-hop culture really is. There's no time limit on disrespect, no statute of limitations when it comes to what you say. A single statement from 5 years back can destroy what you're building today, especially when it's aimed at the wrong person. The streets might forget, but the internet and the culture, never. And here's what made it all even crazier. The way NBA YoungBoy handled it was straight up genius. He didn't respond with a diss track, didn't post a rant, didn't even say Montana's name. He didn't give him that validation or attention. Instead, he sent a silent message with that one like. That subtle move said everything. The disrespect was noted, but YoungBoy wasn't about to waste breath on someone beneath his level. Even the phone call was perfectly planned. Instead of calling personally, which would have made Montana feel important, YoungBoy had his right-hand man, OG3, handle it. That move alone spoke volumes. It showed Montana wasn't even worthy of a direct response, but the situation was still serious enough to be handled by someone official. That's next-level power play strategy. For Montana, it became a straight-up nightmare that wouldn't end. Every interview he gave trying to clear things up just made it worse. Every apology made him look softer. Every excuse chipped away at the image he spent years building. He got trapped in a loop. The more he talked, the deeper he dug his own grave. And the saddest part? The new Dallas movement, which had been gaining real momentum, building respect, and putting the city on the map, suddenly got tied to his downfall. One man's mistake became a shadow over the whole wave, turning what could have been a breakout moment for Dallas into a lesson about what happens when words, pride, and the internet collide. Once the situation blew up, every artist in the new Dallas movement had to make a choice. Either cut ties with Montana 700 or risk getting dragged down right alongside him. It wasn't just about loyalty anymore. It was about survival in an industry where perception is everything. At its core, Montana's downfall wasn't even about nail polish or NBA YoungBoy style. It was about respect and consequences. In hip-hop, your words can carry weight long after you've said them, sometimes even years later, and if you're not ready to stand on them, those same words can come back and put you in danger. The moment 4KT reached out and Montana instantly started apologizing and explaining himself, the truth became clear. That tough talk energy he'd been showing off online was just for the cameras. He looked like someone who only talks wild when he thinks no one important is paying attention, but when real pressure hits, he folds. And in this culture, that's the ultimate red flag, because in hip-hop, authenticity is everything. Once you're labeled fake, once people believe your image doesn't match your actions, it's nearly impossible to come back from that. The streets remember, the fans remember, and the industry never forgets. So now the big question hanging in the air is, what does all this mean for Montana 700's future and the new Dallas movement as a whole? When you get publicly checked by NBA YoungBoy's crew and your first move is to duck the smoke and apologize, that changes everything. It shifts how artists see you, how promoters book you, and how fans respect you. And the worst part, Montana's own attempts to fix it only made it worse. Every interview he gave, every "I was just a fan" excuse he offered, made him look more desperate and less real. What was supposed to be a moment of redemption turned into proof that the tough image he built was never solid to begin with. And once that mask slips in hip-hop, there's no putting it back on. Honestly, Montana 700 would have been way better off just taking the L and moving on quietly. But his ego wouldn't let that happen. Instead, he kept trying to talk his way out of it. And every time he opened his mouth, the situation got worse. What could have blown over in a week turned into a full-blown stain on his name that just wouldn't fade. This whole saga should be a wake-up call for anyone trying to build a career in hip-hop, or any public game, really. Your words matter, your past matters, and the internet, it never forgets. What you think is just casual talk, a random opinion, or some clout-chasing moment can come back years later to ruin everything you've worked so hard to build. Once it's out there, it's permanent. Meanwhile, NBA YoungBoy showed exactly why he's on a completely different level. He didn't need to post a rant, drop a diss, or even say Montana's name. He handled the whole thing like a boss, calm, calculated, and confident. That single like on a post did more damage than any diss track could have. It was the ultimate power move, quiet but deadly. It showed the difference between someone who has real power and someone who only talks about having it. For the new Dallas movement, though, this was a huge setback. Having one of their top faces exposed as someone who folded under pressure hit the movement hard. It raised questions about how real the whole crew really was, whether the authenticity they rapped about was truth or just branding. Fans and industry insiders started wondering if Montana wasn't built for it, who else in the camp might be putting on an act too? And as for Montana himself, that phone call from OG33 will probably haunt him for the rest of his career. Anytime someone doubts his toughness or his credibility, that story will come back up. How he apologized, made excuses, and tried to talk his way out when 4KT came calling. In a culture where image is everything, that's the kind of moment that follows you forever. That's the kind of reputation that sticks with you forever. In this culture, moments like this remind everyone just how fast hip-hop politics can flip the script. One day, you're building your name, getting respect, and feeling unstoppable. The next, you're on the phone apologizing to someone's crew, trying to clean up comments you made years ago. The game doesn't forgive, and it definitely doesn't forget. Montana 700 learned that lesson the hard way. This whole situation was a real-life example of how one mistake can snowball into something that threatens your entire career. In hip-hop, there's no room for half-truths or weak energy. You either stand on what you say or be ready to face what comes next. So here's the question. What do you think about how Montana handled getting checked by 4KT? Was he being smart, keeping the peace and avoiding drama? Or should he have stood firm on what he said, no matter the consequences? Did that apology save his life, or did it destroy his credibility for good? Drop your thoughts below. I want to hear it all. Do you think Montana can bounce back from this, or is his name forever tied to that moment he folded? This story is more than just beef. It's a real look into how the streets and the music industry collide, where reputation means everything and one wrong move can end it all. Because when 4KT calls, you better have your story straight. And saying, "I was just a fan," definitely won't cut it when you're trying to be respected as a real artist. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like, subscribe, share, and drop a comment below. Stay tuned, more real stories and raw hip-hop breakdowns coming your way.